If you own Di2 hydraulic shifters, this may happen to you. You may cross-thread your bleed port caps, or you may just over-tighten it. So if these threads are stripped, there is nothing you can do, but is it? Today we're going to take a look what can be done. Today we are fixing stripped threads on the shifter. Welcome to the Di2GP YouTube channel. The tools you need for the job are set of tabs. So ideally you would need M6 by 1, M7 by 1, M9 by 1.25 and also M9 die. Also you would need this, but if you're buying a set, they come in a set anyway. Then you'll need an epoxy glue. I use Gorilla, but you can get pretty much anything what's epoxy and then fairly fast setting. You'll need an aluminium tube, 8mm external diameter and 6mm internal. You can use brass, but in my local hardware shop I bought aluminium, but brass should be absolutely fine too. But before we start cutting and chopping anything, so I'm gonna give you example. So that's a strip thread of a Ultegra 8070, but obviously the same body is on a 9170 apart from the number. So as you can see, that's a standard bleed cap and it doesn't catch at all. So if you are in a rush or if you're not confident with repairs, your first port of call would be to buy 12-speed, either Ultegra Durace or 105. So 105 is steel, so it's very likely going to strip that hex. But often what happens, because obviously that is slightly longer, you may be able to see that sits nicely. So the only problem with that would be you possibly need to get slightly different adapter for your bleed cap, because obviously bleed cap threads to the same port, so that's going to be the biggest challenge. But obviously if that doesn't work and you want to make sure obviously that works nicely, we're gonna do it. So just a bit of explanation why I think this is okay. I've tested that on my shifters and I had never issues whatsoever. So I wouldn't attempt fixing that section here, because if you strip these threads, obviously that's under pressure. So when you're applying brakes, obviously this is a pressure raises and that needs to be nice and solid. Whereas here, so if you look here, so that's brakes are not applied, but you'll see, I'm not sure if you can see that. Yeah, you can see. So these little holes here. So this is your reservoir with fluid, and as soon as you apply brakes, so obviously that's been completely locked off. So now that bit is completely sealed, or sealed off from the entire braking system. So when the pressure rises when you're applying brakes, obviously that's completely excluded. So the pressure won't grow here. So this is why I think this is safe. But again, I'm not bike mechanic, I'm not technician, I'm not Shimano expert. So it's worked for me, and I think the repair I'm going to show you is much better than just forcing in M8 or some other well, temporary fix, not to say bodge solution. In the step one, we're going to prepare insert. So we've got M8 or M8 8mm diameter aluminium tube, which is 6mm internal diameter. We're gonna use M9 die, 1.25 thread pitch, and then what you do is literally, first of all, you need to cut external thread. So obviously I already pre-cut it, and the main reason for that is obviously you need to ideally clamp it in a vise, or if you got some suspension forks holders, so that's going to keep it in place. So it's very important to cut external bit first, because obviously I'm going to explain why in a second. So as soon as that's cut, so what you're gonna do then is you're gonna use M9 tab to cut a thread inside the shifter. So obviously that's going to lock in place, and then we're gonna use epoxy to seal everything together. So obviously that's M9 thread 1.25, that's M9 1.25. So I'm gonna show later what to do. The next step is to use a M6 by 1, and obviously you need to cut a pilot thread inside. So that's why I start with M6, and then obviously that is followed by M7. So I'm not going to demonstrate how I'm doing it because obviously I don't have a camera setup where I have my vise. So, but ideally you either keep it in a vise or you can clamp it somewhere. So I use the pliers here, just obviously to cut the threads, and obviously you have to use M7 by 1. So just gonna give you. So that's a standard metric thread. And then when you, the main reason why you're cutting external bit first and then internal, because obviously that's going to spread that a little bit. So if you were to cut first with M7 and then go round with a M9, that's going to crush it, and then your bleed cap won't work. So when you're done with it, just cut a little bit. So you're gonna end up in something like that. So I always leave a little bit of a holder at the top, so you're gonna use your pliers to screw that in, and obviously you can use Dremel to nicely chamfer the external bit so it goes in a lot easier. But obviously that's now prepared. So the next step is to take our patient, and then I'm not sure if that's strictly acceptable, but I use gear 1, and then ideally if you that work. So obviously what you want to do is to make sure that is a nice and perpendicular to the ground. And then why I'm using a drill, because obviously it's it would take me forever to use this, and because obviously that's 7mm, that's 9mm, so you need to cut a little bit. But see, I didn't go through yet, but obviously that's cutting the external bit. I'm not sure if you can see the shiny bit inside. So that's tap. And if you look here, let me zoom in. So that's a lovely, very deep and very stable thread. Then we've got a piece. I always make a little thingy, I call it thingy, to put my pliers on. So that's obviously not going to damage internally. And then obviously you can actually you can use your fingers to start it. But obviously when that's covered in epoxy, it's a lot easier to use. And as you can see, hopefully you can just make out a little bit of silver bit. Make sure you keep at least 1 or 2 threads sticking out, because obviously when you're threading that in, that's going to keep the resin outside. And then when that's set, I use Dremel and then just sanding bit to finish it off. Before we apply glue, as you can see, so you can see there's a port going directly inside, and then that's all empty. So let me just give you a presentation one more time. So as you can see, that's now sticking out. So this is, I wouldn't go any further. So what you can do is just I use just a masking tape, fold it in half, and then you can spread it like that. So if there's any adhesive or glue drip, how it's gonna go into that tape. Before we move on, make sure obviously use isopropyl alcohol to clean surfaces, obviously they're nice and degreased. And then we can mix some adhesive. So now we can apply it. So you need to make sure obviously it's evenly coated. Then the same goes for this one, and then we can so as you can see, that's evenly coated. Although that's 5 minutes set, I'm gonna leave it for 24 hours. After 24 hours, obviously, I'm gonna take snippets and cut that bit off. But then I'm going to use a Dremel and that bit here to flatten everything. And then I'm gonna show you the final result. So it's been 24 hours. Oh, actually it wasn't. That's one I made earlier. So that's a Shimano blink cap. That goes nicely, no issues whatsoever. Also we have a standard 11-speed bleed cap. That is nice on the top. And that should be absolutely fine. Couple justification reasoning. So if you look on that repair, so that external diameter of this thread insert is 8 millimeters. So assuming that entire bit here, let's call it is 9, with this obviously cut thread. The bleed cap top hat is 11.3. And then you got a O-ring which is being compressed. So when you screw that in, I'm not sure you can make it out, but obviously that O-ring compresses and it goes outside of that threaded bit. So like I said, I've been using that for a year, maybe a year and a half. Never had any issues. Make sure obviously it goes slowly with cutting threads on both sides, and because obviously we got a number 1 thread, so that's a safety net number 1. Number 2, we've got a epoxy which keeps things in place, and number 3, we've got a 2 millimeter large diameter of a top cap which covers that aluminium bit anyway. That works for Dura-Ace and Ultegra 8070 and 9170. I think that won't be an issue on, well actually you can cross thread it anyway, but for 12 speeds the thread is a lot longer, so that shouldn't be a problem. And you can use the same technique for a 105 Ultegra and Dura-Ace mechanical, both 11 and 12 speed. If you have any questions, or if I missed something, or if you want to get a more in-depth analysis of that, do let me know in comments. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe so this channel can grow. And if you want to see more of DI2 repairs or hydraulic repairs, do let me know what you want to see. And if I got my hands on that specific part and if I can fix it, then I'm gonna share that with you. Thanks for watching, and until next time.